Chipper Jones, joining us here on The Rude Awakening, the Fan 680 and 93.7 FM. Chipper, good morning. We'll talk about that World Series, an additional one that you captured in just a second. But when you talk about guys being this young, something you know about and having success like this, it really puts things into perspective just how great these guys are. You know, again, personally what it's all about.
Well, it really does put it into perspective. I mean, you get asked all the time, which guys, are in the discussion to start you got one guy you're going to start your team around. Who's it going to be? And I think, you've got a smattering of the Harpers. You might have a Machado fan here and there, but, by and large, it's usually Mike Trout. I mean, this guy's, I believe, become the face of baseball. He's what, he's what parents want the kids to grow up to be. He's that guy that, does it with very little fanfare. He just goes out and does his job. Doesn't matter whether he's healthy or hurt. He's going out there and getting the job done and playing the game the right way and setting a good example for the younger generation.
Chipper, just real quick on him, 26 years old, 1,000 hits. And what's crazy is you can say he's got a natural ability, but people have been trying to figure out how to get him out. It's not like he plays in a vacuum. People are trying to do their job to figure out how the hell to stop him.
Well, that's what separates the good from the great. I mean, when you gotta really search and find, new ways to try and get him out, because he makes adjustments, so well. He makes adjustments on the fly. He makes adjustments from bat to bat and game to game. Those are the guys that stick around a long time. And I have no doubt that, Mike Trout is going to be one of those guys, if he stays healthy till he's 40 years old, is going to have, 3,000 to 3,500 hits, in his career. He's probably going to be up there around 500 homers somewhere. And with, all the MVPs in his pocket already, with all the second-place finishes, got a Rookie of the Year. There's no telling how many this kid can win. By the time it's all said and done, I think he's going to go down as, one of the top 5, top 10 best players ever play this game.
All right, so let's say you're really retired. I know you played a little baseball recently. We'll talk about that in a second. Did you have, either righty or lefty, a hole like that? If you would have actually sat down and said, man, I hope they don't do this, what would the I hope they don't do this to me have been?
I think most people will tell you the book on me was don't throw me a first pitch fastball, first strike. That's, that's what I was hunting. But the book on me was soft early, hard in late. I think it was, did I have a hole? I wouldn't say I necessarily had a hole. I may have had a flaw in my approach from time to time. And I think, people pitched to my approach rather than they did my hole. They knew I was hunting fastballs and maybe hunting off speed late in counts, and that's why the book on me was soft away early, hard in late.
Chipper Jones with us on the Grady Health System Newsmaker line. Dansby Swanson struggling early on down at AAA. The batting average now down to .216. What advice would you offer him?
I text Dansby after he was sent down. I just let him know, hey, this little speed bump, keep the chin up, keep working hard. Tried to get into it a little bit with, approach. He is the most slidered hitter in the big leagues. He has seen, while he was here in the big leagues, he saw the most sliders per at bat of any hitter in the big leagues. So we got to learn how to hit the slider, and the only way to hit the slider is to let it get deep, shoot it to right. And I just see him. I see him sometimes missing balls off the end of the bat. It's not that his hand-eye coordination is off. He's just missing balls off the end of the bat. Whenever that happens, usually you're pulling off. Now, I've seen a couple of mechanical things that I would change, but again, this is the guy, much like Albies who said, this is the way I've hit my whole life. His back foot displaces 6 to 8 inches during the middle of his swing, and that makes, that makes for having a firm foundation, a firm base. It makes it really, really hard to hit with a firm foundation whenever your back foot displaces, that much, that often.
But you can't do that during BP. Do you have to hire a guy? Because even out of a jugs gun, even out of a machine, that's not the same as seeing a guy actually throw a slider. Do you need to hire somebody, or do you need to have somebody down there who throws a different version of BP where it is just seeing sliders?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. That's something for Johnny Moses, who's a AAA hitting coach, and the guys that are above my pay grade. Obviously, this is a kid that we love. This is a kid that we've penciled in as being, the future, and we got to get him fixed. We are extremely lucky that Johan Camargo has come out of nowhere to better his game and has come up here and contributed, or else, we'd really be struggling up the middle this year.
All right, let's talk about what you did in Kansas. Adam LaRoche did this last year, and he said, let's get some of the fellas back together and let's go win a title. Now, for people who don't know, this is called a World Series. What was the phone call to you initially, and did you say yes very quickly?
No, this was something I had to marinate on for a while because I'm in, if you had seen me play this week, it would have been, Willie Mays' last days in a Mets uniform.
Oh no, I saw those. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly, but I think last year was the first year he offered, and I hurt my back playing golf and couldn't go out and had to back out, so really felt obligated to go this year, even though the body wasn't feeling all that great still. But I would go on a yearly basis just to get that kind of clubhouse atmosphere, the camaraderie with the guys. I mean, we're talking about guys that, yes, I've spent time in the clubhouse with a few of them, but there's quite a few guys in there, quite frankly, when we played against each other, I wasn't a big fan of. Roy Halladay was in the locker room, Roy Oswald at one time. I mean, these are guys that we had serious rivalries with, and quite frankly, I'm sure if you asked them and they answered truthfully, they didn't like me very much either. So it was an interesting dynamic, but all the guys, they came ready to play every day. We had fun in the dugout. We had fun at night after the games, and really got to know the guys on a different level, which was fun.
Tell the folks what this is, this World Series, what Chipper participated in.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's obviously not open to just amateurs. I think there's a rule where 24 of your 25 guys might actually have been able to play professional baseball, but this is for a real trophy, and this is an elimination type tournament, is it not?
Yeah, you have the first 3 games are pool play, where you come out of, it's kind of a round robin. You play to get into the championship weekend, and it's do or die after that. You're talking about Division I, Division II guys, travel teams. These guys travel all over the country trying to play, 50, 60, 75, even 100 games from time to time. And there was a lot of hubbub about whether or not we should be playing in this tournament. But I think when you sit back and you really realize what we're doing from a charitable standpoint during the week, I mean, we're not taking any of the money. We're giving back to the community and the charities. Not only that, to the teams that played in the tournament. And I could just see myself at 18, 19, 20 years old being given an opportunity to play against a bunch of ex-major leaguers and wanting to strut my stuff against the major leaguers. And for the most part, 90% of the kids that I saw were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They were anxious to play us. The coaches, not so much. We got some flack from some of the coaches and whatnot. throughout the week. But it can't. All that can't overshadow, how much fun we had and how much good we did in the community of Wichita. And
Adam LaRoche is a really good host. I don't know if he hosts quite as well as he used to, but I know his place out there, it's equipped to let the boys have a good time.
Yes, he's got a nice spread out in Kansas. Got about 3,000 acres. Brought most of the guys out. I did not go early, but he brought most of the guys out early to work out. On his farm, he's got batting cages, and he's got a facility there in Fort Scott, Kansas, where we can get on the field and take ground balls and whatnot. So, look, Adams, as you well know, Adams a little different, man. He goes all over the world for. I haven't really sat down and talked to him about the human trafficking thing that he's trying to raise awareness for. He goes undercover with police all over the world trying to stop these human trafficking rings. And, not only that, still, give back to the communities where he's from in Fort Scott, obviously in Wichita. And for him to organize something this big, really, having played with him and having seen that ADD up close and personal is really kind of shocking, but he's really focused on bringing awareness to these things and did a great job of hosting this tournament.
So you capture the National Baseball Congress World Series. Is it right up there when you think about accomplishments, right next to the 95 World Championship you won with the Braves?
I will say that at 45 years old, not having picked up a bat or a glove in 5 years, other than maybe in spring training, whatnot, it was quite an accomplishment. The trophy's not going up next to the World Series trophy, but it's fun banter on a Tuesday morning on Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame call, by the way, you're back on the clock for your 5-year eligibility. So sorry, we'll see you in another 5.
All right, Chipper. Listen, congratulations. Enjoyed the story. Hopefully, we'll talk again in the not too distant future.
All right, guys. Y'all be good.